The Mount St. Mary's controversy, which began last fall, continues to gain national attention. The controversy is around a series of decisions made by University President Simon Newman. These include changes in the employee health plan and cuts in retirement benefits, a controversial dismissal of 25 students that were identified as not likely to succeed in the school, and the firing of 2 faculty members who opposed Newman's plans. Ryan, what say you?
Well, as a Mount St. Mary's graduate student, I'm in my MBA program, and it's a great university, but they just switched some leadership. Boy, I wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of this guy if I were a faculty member. I think that he is looking at the way that universities run through a business perspective, and that if students aren't working out quickly, you have to identify the problem and maybe figure out a different solution. And his solution, although stern and maybe unpalatable to the faculty, was to, hey, they're not working out, college might not be your thing, it's time to go.
But he was going to give them back their tuition.
Yeah, and that's
and
fine.
number to a good trade school.
True.
I mean, that's, but there's nothing wrong with but the faculty are saying, well, no, you can't do that. I mean, they're coming here, you have to coach them along. And what did he call them, Ed?
Well, what he basically said was, and I think I can outline this whole problem. You know, in school we played this game called Simon Says, and he said that the professors, you know, think of these students as cuddly bunnies, and Simon said, you can't do that. And then Simon said, you have to drown these bunnies. And then Simon said, you have to put a Glock to their head. Now, if this guy's first name would have been Bob, this wouldn't have been that big of a problem. But the fact that Simon said, you know what, that carries a lot more weight. And there, I think, is the big problem.
Carl, you have a daughter in college. What if somebody...
Did you follow that, Carl?
No, I'm still trying to get over this. I
What
don't
would you
know.
say if
Did you ever play
somebody...
Simon
It's going to
Says?
take me an hour to recuperate
What
from
would you
that
say if
line of
somebody
logic.
said that
I don't know.
about your kid, you know, that was not...
Well, I
performing?
don't know what the standards are that he's using to do that. I think it all depends on that. If the kid is running a 0.5 average, then maybe somebody needs to do something like that.
But the kid's
I don't know what the standards you're looking at.
I mean, one of the challenges I see is the evolving of our university system, evolving of our colleges. We have, example, University of Maryland, which receives a lot of money in research grants that they can underwrite all these various programs. Mount St. Mary's doesn't have that luxury.
No.
They don't have that large alumni base that can continue to contribute. When Ryan becomes a billionaire, I'm sure he's going to make sure he bequeaths.
It'll be huge.
Okay, huge. Okay, fantastic.
God
He'll
forbid.
bequeath a scholarship fund for him. But it's tough for them to compete in the STEM programs, where it's going to. And liberal arts, let's face it, how many liberal arts people come out and apply for a job and end up working at
Do
McDonald's?
you know the Georgetown faculty, they signed on to a letter supporting the 87 members of the Mount St. Mary's faculty who said this guy needs to go. I mean, they want to get rid of this guy. And he's new in the presidency, and they say, it's time to go. And then it's all transpired through an original article in it's called the Mount Echo, and it's the student-run newspaper. And they really took him to task. The students want him gone. Then he fired these 2 professors who disagreed with his opinion. Then he said, well, I want to reinstate them. And he kind of went back on it and backpedaled just a bit.
So is he trying to get warm and fuzzy with the faculty now that
He's cuddly
Well,
buddies.
he's figured out they're cuddly
cuddly with
buddies. Yeah, that's what he's.
But is it a harsh reality
Well,
that
he
he's
had
doing?
this. He had this. I think they had 20 to 25% was a amount of students at the school that did not complete their freshman year. So he was trying to make that number lower, and so he decided that this early intervention would be a way to perhaps solve that high number.
And their mom and dads will probably thank them somewhere down the road that they were sent home and didn't incur
Yeah.
$30,000 worth of debt their first year of school.
Yeah, Mount
But
St.
I know,
Mary's
but
is
I
not
know,
cheap.
but I know classmates that I started college with who didn't do very well in their first semester,
Yeah.
and they went to summer school to make all that stuff up, and ended up graduating college and doing
It's
quite
very
well.
common.
Some
students,
it's
Very
very
common.
common.
Some
That-
students
that-
don't matriculate.
That leap from high school to college for some students is a pretty large leap, and so I have seen students that would get a 2.0 or even less their first year, but then go to summer school, make up some classes that they miss, and all of a sudden, as they become a sophomore, it clicks and they're off to the races.
But, you know, if Bernie Sanders becomes president, we won't have to worry about these kids.
Free college.
It's going to be free college.
That's a great segue.
I'm just saying, there's free college.
It's not free, Henry. You are going to pay for their college. even Carl, the Democrat,
I'm
is
paying
gonna
for it
pay
now.
their college. But you're going to pay for
You'll pay
kids.
for it.
You're
I'm
paying for
paying
kids'
for
college you don't even know.
But here's where we're going is with the salaries for faculty and advisors at universities have become extremely burdensome to these universities continuing offering a
of
quality
money.
program.
Well, let me ask you this. You think that some of the programs that universities offer, I mean, Henry, I know you were a gender studies major and
Well, you
a
know,
women's studies. You know,
actually it was being a chef, but anyhow, you know.
I'm kidding, but
If
I'm
you ask me
thinking-
how many ounces are in a cup, I can nail that answer for
That's
you.
awesome.
Yes.
But
How
think
many
about
ounces are in a cup?
8.
Thank you.
it. Something new today.
He's still stuck on your bunny story.
He's
yeah,
still
he is,
stuck
yeah.
on
Shouldn't we
Simon
consider-
Says, you
Yeah.
mean. Simon
But Ed,
Says
I mean,
story,
shouldn't
yeah.
we consider maybe revamping some of the programs that are more realistic to today's job standard?
I think so, but I think poor Simon got himself in
Poor Simon.
got himself in a pickle here with the words that he chose. Particularly, I think the one that was most offensive was what did he say? here?
Drowning and
put a
shooting the
put a
buddies.
Glock to their heads.
Right.
Which I think the drowning part wasn't as bad as the Glock.
So what got him in the most trouble? Was it telling the students they had to go, or was it telling those two faculty members they had to
Faculty.
go? What got him in the most trouble?
Faculty.
Hey,
Well, the faculty standing up, I think, is what let the pin fall out of the
the
grenade.
faculty's like the mafia, you know. The tenure is a big deal, and they
You don't
protect
mess with their
themselves.
job
Exactly.
security. Yeah.
The faculty with no no severance, it's gone. Boom,
Disagree with them.
gone.
But how
So-
many Elizabeth Warrens do we have there earning $400,000 a year?
That's how much she earned at Harvard?
One class, $400K.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome. Great discussion, guys. Up next, what's next for What's next for congressional districts in Maryland? We'll review the Special Commission's report and provide insight. We'll be right back.